can approach our prospects or even our new associates and help them have a deeper understanding of what this business is all about with a very simple framework. So there are actually 4 ways to earn. Okay, so we have E as the employee, wherein you trade your time for money. Okay, so if you work 8 hours, you get paid for 8 hours. If you don't want to double your income, then you have to double your effort. But if you want to triple your income, is it possible to work 24 hours? Of course not. Which means that if we are employees, there is a very limited chance that we could ever have financial freedom. Okay, so S is self-employed. And of course, we know that these people are highly trained and they are highly paid. They have special skills. However, most of the professionals are considered self-employed. Doctors, lawyers, and even dentists. However, if they don't open their clinic, will they still earn? Of course not. Why? Because it is tied to their time and effort. And self-employed are also small business owners, but if they don't open their stores, of course, they don't earn as well. Okay, so the employee and the self-employed actually are limited by their own time and effort. And this is why they earn linear income, which means that if they work, they get paid. But if they don't work, they don't get paid. Okay? So this is what we call the left side of the quadrant. Now, the right side of the quadrant is where the rich operate. How is it that the rich get richer? What is it that they do? So the big businesses are businesses that employ over 500 employees. And these big businesses usually requires huge capital, and also it also has very big risk. And usually, big businesses can operate on its own. Okay, why? Because the big business owners, they usually employ people to run the business. Why? Because they have a system in place. Now they can they know how to multiply their time and effort. Okay, so the big business is where the big money is made. Now, what is the I? The investor. The investor actually just invest their money, okay, in real estate, stock market, and in other in a lot of different investment. Yes. So the investor actually does not have to work. It makes their money. It enables their money to work for them. So this is the right side of the quadrant. Okay. Now, the right side of the quadrant is where the rich operate. How is it that they get richer? It's because they know how to use other people's time, other people's effort, and other people's money. Okay, so they know how to leverage. Okay, so this is where, in simple terms, what do we mean by leverage? It means that I am earning 1% of 100 people's effort rather than earning 100% of my own effort. Okay, so what if something happens to you? If you are earning linear income, it's something scary, right? Especially with the pandemic, suddenly your linear income is suddenly gone. Okay, so but if you are earning leverage income, just like what we are doing in USANA, our income continues because we are leveraging our income. Now, according to Robert Kiyosaki, the fastest way to transfer from a linear income to a leverage income is actually through network marketing. So that is what is amazing. And he said that in 3 to 5 years' time, you can actually do that. Okay? But the best thing about network marketing is that you can start with a very small investment. And with only $500, okay, you can already buy into the system of USANA. The beauty about this business is that in network marketing is that what we are doing is we are buying into the system, okay, of a big business. So, for example, Usana, who does everything? Usana does everything. It manufactures, it does the research and development, it does the accounting for us, it prints everything, all the brochures and marketing materials, it provides the system. So everything is done by Usana. So in network marketing, what we are doing is just buying into the system, an existing system. And yet with a very small capital, we can earn the potential income of a big business. So isn't this business amazing? Yes. So this is how simple the prospects need to know. Okay. So this is why you have to do network marketing, because in 3 to 5 years time, you can actually transfer from the linear side to the leverage side. Okay. So the second one is there's people have a lot of negativity about network marketing. Why? Because they never really understood what network marketing is. It was never properly discussed or explained to them. And that's why we are going to use this. Okay, so this is just a very simple illustration. So what is network marketing? Okay, network marketing is of course a distribution business wherein the manufacturer goes directly to the consumers, bypassing or eliminating the middlemen. Okay, so which means that we can get products at a lower price because of the not having to go through the middleman. So what is network marketing? So it consists of two words. First is network, the people that we know. I'm sure each of us know at least 100 people. But with the social media, we can have a huge network. And network would also include the people that they know. Earlier, we heard from Krista Rialba and even from Katie that it's like friends of friends, right? Which we can access to the social media. So each of us has a very huge network, and all we have to do is to access that. Now, what is marketing? Marketing simply is educating people about the value of a product and promoting this. The beauty about network marketing is everyone in network marketing only shares the product because they have personally used it. So it's really a word of mouth. So very much similar like watching a movie and recommending it to friends. However, we don't really get paid if we recommend a movie. However, just by being involved in a network marketing company, whatever we share, we get paid. Okay, so the business is so simple. So there's only two activities that is happening in the business. First is we have the retail. So retail, what do you do in retail? We are actually looking for customers and we share. We take the products and then we share our experiences. And people who just want to use the product can be our customers. There are more people who just wants to use the product. So we can build a huge customer base from this. And all we have to do, follow up, and they become our loyal users. Okay? So, however, this is the linear side of the business. Okay? So, you cannot really build huge income with just selling the product. So, we would like to just give 20% of our time doing this. However, why is it that lots of people are earning huge income in this kind of business? It is because of sponsoring. And what is sponsoring? Sponsoring is simply looking for business builders who are willing to do what you do. And what do we do? In looking for the business builders, we are inviting people to take a look. And I'm sure every one of you here have been invited. And you would never know about this business if you were not invited. Okay, so while earlier we heard a lot about follow-up and being persistent, and true enough, I don't know, it was it Jeremy who mentioned that there was somebody who after 1 year decided to join the business. So you can never really say that you have invited that person enough. So persistence is the key. So you invite and then you teach. What do we teach? We teach how to share the product, how to use the product, how to share the product, and how to invite. The basic skills. We are teaching the basic skills. So this is the leverage side of the business. Okay. So this is the leverage side of the business. Okay, so we would like to be spending 80% of our time in building leverage. Okay, so this is a very simple illustration of what the business is all about. Okay, so the third framework that I would like to discuss is the 3 key concepts. So lots of people cannot really understand how this business can earn us huge income. How does it happen? Especially when we talk to traditional business owners who are used to earning huge income based on huge capitalization. So it's so hard for the big businesses, the business people to understand how network marketing actually generates the income. Now, this is a good illustration for it. So these are the 3 key concepts that make network marketing a brilliant business. Okay, so first is duplication. So what is duplication? It means to copy. So what do we copy? How to use the product, how to share the product, and how to invite and teach. Okay, so let's take, for example, that there are 2 people, okay, that you invited and you shared, okay, and told them to copy. So 2 times 2, there's 4. And the 4 people who will copy the initial activity that you did is to also invite 2. This is what Rich Tan just mentioned earlier, just 2 persons, 2 that will become executive gold director. So 2 is 8, and 8 times 2 is 16. Now, if you invited 3 persons and asked them to copy, and they do the same, so 3 times 3 is 9, and everybody copying the same thing. So 9 times 3 is 27, and if they invite another 3, that would be 81. So what is the difference between inviting 2 and inviting 3, but there's duplication? So there's 65 at the 4th level. However, the only difference was you just added 1 who duplicated what you do. What if you invited 4? Okay, so 4 times 4 is 16. And then they invited 4, 64. And they invited 4, that's 256. What is the difference between inviting 3 and inviting 4? That's 175. Isn't that a big difference? But you know what? The only difference was just 1. Adding another person, but there is duplication. Okay, so this is what makes this business amazing because of the duplication. Okay, so what does it mean to duplicate? You making sure that the person that you invite and the person that they invite sponsor, and the person that they sponsor knows how to duplicate. So that is the idea, that you go 3 levels deep, ensuring that there is the right foundation for duplication. Now, why is it that a lot of people are not earning in the business? It's very simple, because they stop right here. So it was mentioned PPPS. Some people just stop here. They never really got duplication down there. They never got duplication going on. And that's why a lot of people quit. Now, the magic of this business is when, let's take, for example, the 256 invited 4. So that would be 1,024. Isn't that an amazing volume of people? So duplication is the key to really build a huge income in our business. And what happens when there is duplication? Of course, there's exponential growth. Okay, so let's take the example earlier of 256. If we only have 256 people, they love the product and they are willing to take it every month. And at 100 points in USANA, okay, at 100 points every month, 256 people will generate us 25,600 points that could potentially earn $5,000. Now, these numbers are actually hypothetical. And of course, we have the income disclaimer. So this is the income possible only with a lot of hard work and commitment and dedicated time and persistence. So it is not something, it is a hypothetical so that we would be able to give our prospect a vision or clarity of what this business is all about and where they can be. And of course, if we have like 1024, okay, we cannot stop people if they love the product and USANA has the best product and they are continually doing research and development. So we will be ensured to have more and more products. And that means that we can have more and more volume. So with 1024 at 100 points, that could potentially earn 20,000 US dollars. So imagine this as something that you can retire on. Okay, so it's something that you can work towards. The best thing about this is residual income. What is residual income? It is income that is earned while you are sleeping. Why? Because our business is about consumers. Consumers who love our product and who are committed to do this long term. And that is why residual income is possible. Okay, so are you willing to give 3 to 5 years to build the business so that you can start earning some residual income? But the more committed you are, just like Jeremy Stansfield, just like Bill and Jasmine Wang, who have been in the business for so long, right? 20 years, this is something that is very possible as long as you give it your commitment. Okay, so lastly, I'd just like to say 3 tips. Everybody's giving their tips. Okay, so the first tip is build unshakable belief in this business. We have been in the business for like 20 so years. The first 10 years we were with different companies and each time the company failed us, but it was only USANA that gave us the long-term vision. And that's why these three frameworks kept us in the business, even though it was up and down, but knowing what we got into helped us stay on course. Okay, so build unshakable business in network marketing as an industry and as your vehicle towards your financial freedom. Okay, second is to have clarity of what you want. Now, this business is going to be up and down, as I've said. Even with all the diamonds we shared, of course, it requires huge self-belief and emotional, Bill and Jenny, emotional quotient, right?
We're running out of time. Just giving you a heads up here. You have to wrap things up, sweetie.
Okay. Yes. So you just need clarity of what you want to achieve with this business. And then third is you just need to talk to people. And this is one of the simplest way to tell people about the beauty of network marketing. So thank you so much, everyone. I hope you got value from it. Back to you, Jeremy.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Daisy. You did such a great job. Incredible content. And your camera and your setup there in your guys' condo or apartment, it looks freaking awesome. In your house there with all the, it's like a professional studio there with all that lighting. Romel's got to be running around there somewhere helping to get all that together. So you look fantastic. Thank you so much for all the content. Okay, next up, we're running out of time. We got a lot to still happen here on our agenda. So we are now going to zoom back over to San Antonio, Texas, where our 5-star diamond director is waiting to be able to share with us more valuable tips and wisdom. We got Miss Monica Penrod. Let's go.
What's up, family? I'm going to take 30 seconds because out here it is about to be midnight and I got to shake it off. So I want everybody to get up out of their seats. Get up out of your seats. Come on, get up, let's go. Remember, uniquely extraordinary and everything matters. So I want you to shake it off, move your butt, shake it out, stretch. For those of you who are into, doing power moves, do a power move. Let's get re-energized so we can finish out this night strong. Woo! All right. And then take a deep breath and let it out. Awesome. Okay. Now, I get to share something that has really made a huge impact on my life, and that is mindset. Okay, something's not. I love when things go haywire. Let me figure this out. And okay, let me see if I can get this fixed. Nope. I may have to I may not be able to share these slides, so just give me a second. I think there is a setting, Jeremy. Okay, just give me a second. Bear with me, you guys and gals. All right, I love how easy it is to operate this. Okie dokie. So here's some training for y'all. When things don't work out the way that you want them to, so what? So what? Take a deep breath, relax, and deal with it, because that's what leaders do. And there's nothing to fret, like there's nothing wrong. This is a teaching moment. All right, let's try this again. Yay, got it to work. All right. So in the chat, I want you to share one of these 7 deadly needs, because we all have them. We all have at least one. If you're like me, you probably have had them all. And the reason this is important is because this affects how we perceive ourselves, how we communicate with other people, communicate with ourselves, and how we grow our business. And I remember in the beginning, my mentor, not only have I heard Jeremy say this, but I also heard my mentor, Brian Douglas, say this as well. You either want to be right or you want to make money. And for the many years, this is going to sound ridiculous, I wanted to be right instead. And I would look at my way of communicating and I'd wonder, like, why aren't people doing anything? Like, why are people moving? Like, why are people not showing up to stuff? And I had to get honest with myself, brutally honest with myself. And I realized, a lot of my conversations with people, I noticed that I have this major need to be right about everything. And you know what? People don't like a know-it-all. People don't like dealing with people who constantly have the need to be right. Because if I'm trying to be right all the time, then I'm making people wrong. And people don't want to be wrong either. And so as I've gone through personal development and have not only been trained, but also have developed myself and have had mentors and have had people be able to look into my way of communicating and my style of leadership and give me feedback, which in the beginning I could not stand. I didn't like getting feedback because it was like, ouch, oh, that felt like a bullet to the chest. And as leaders, it's important that we're getting feedback, and it's important that we are developing our mindset and dealing with all of this stuff like the need to be right, keeping score, the need to be in control, the need to look good and avoid looking bad. And all of that got in the way of my leadership and my communication and the way that I deal with myself and deal with other people. And I'll never forget a few years back, I read this quote from Albert Einstein, that the most important decision that we will ever make is whether we believe the universe is friendly or hostile. So what I want y'all to do is I want you to write on your paper what your worldview is, because your worldview shapes everything. And I mean everything. Everything from who you marry, who are your friends, how you train and develop yourself, how you move forward in your business, how you spend money, what house you live in, what car you buy, relationships, everything. So I want you to write down, do you believe that the universe is hostile, or do you believe that the universe is friendly? And I'm gonna. Now, if you're like me, you believe that the universe is hostile. That has been my worldview for most of my life. So if you believe that the universe is hostile, how do you think you show up? I want you to put it in the chat. How do you think people show up when they believe the universe is hostile? I can't see the chat, but I'm assuming some of you typed in being on the defense. That was me. Being on red alert, waiting for danger, looking for danger everywhere. Can't trust people. Constantly living in fight, flight, or freeze. Or maybe your worldview was Care Bear Land. Maybe you grew up in a home that was a lot like Caroline. Awesome for you. I didn't grow up in that home. I grew up with Darth Vader. And it would have been wonderful to grow up like this, but that was not my worldview. And how did that shape me and the way that I built my business in the beginning? Well, hello, I didn't trust people. I didn't like people very much. And I was constantly on the defense and on red alert and in constant stress mode. How the heck am I supposed to go build a business if I'm constantly living like that? And, you know, we talked about and we've heard about how where your attention is, energy flows. What you focus on is where energy flows. I'm constantly focused on all these dangers and triggers and alerts around me that it was extremely challenging to grow my USANA business because I was in constant fear all the time. Fear of rejection, again, looking bad in front of people, always needing to be perfect. I mean, that puts a damper in our energy and in the way that we grow, and it actually puts a halt on our growth. And another thing that also affects our mindset is whether we believe the mind is fixed. And I'm assuming many, if not most of you, are already familiar with Carol Dweck's book called Mindset. And people that believe they have a fixed mindset believe that their abilities, their skills, their intelligence, and their talents are all fixed traits, that you can't change it. And we now know that neuroscience shows that that is not true, that the brain has plasticity. It can continue to branch out. Our neurons can branch out. We can learn, we can grow, we can develop new skills, new habits. It doesn't matter what age you are, we can still improve and grow our IQ. And so the growth mindset is a belief that all of these basic abilities and skills can be developed. And the conversation that people with the growth mindset have is, failure is an opportunity to grow. I can learn to do anything I want. Challenges help me to grow. My effort and attitude determine my abilities. Feedback is constructive. I had this worldview of hostility, danger, and oh my gosh, getting feedback, or as a lot of us know it as criticism, constructive criticism, it doesn't sound pleasant. It does not sound pleasant or fun to have somebody pick at me and what I perceive to be tearing everything apart about me and giving me feedback, because it was, it hurt me. It didn't feel good. And those that have this idea that their mind is fixed, and some of you may believe in this growth mindset, but your belief system won't truly allow yourself to step into that. And that conversation looks like, failure is the limit of my abilities. I'm either good at it or I'm not. My abilities are unchanging. I can either do it or I can't. My potential is predetermined. I'll stick to what I know. And so I want to share with you some key factors that it's important that you really get. And that not only that you get, and I want to be clear about what I'm saying right now. See, knowing what I'm about to share with you, knowing all this stuff is not enough. Knowing's not enough. I mean, how many of you know how to lose weight, but you haven't lost a pound in years? How many of you know about real estate and how to make money in real estate, but you never bought a property, or you've never bought an investment property? Like, a lot of us, we know a lot of stuff, but unless we implement what we're learning tonight and taking action on it, it's just knowledge, it's just information. So first thing is, you want to put your butt on the line. You want to step into a growth mindset, you got to put your butt on the line. And it sounds scary. I remember the first time I heard this, must have been about, I know exactly when it was. It was 15 years ago. And I was in a personal development seminar with the company called Clemmer and Associates. Many of you are familiar with that company. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, putting my butt on the line, that is so scary. Like, I don't want to put my butt on the line. And I didn't, because I could not handle failure at the time. And why? Because if I failed at something, I made it mean that I'm a failure. And so, us humans, you've heard me say this before, we are meaning-making machines. We make meaning out of everything. And the reality is this: you, as a human, you can't fail. It's impossible. The fact that you're even here with me on the Zoom tonight shows that you're not a failure. It's impossible to fail as a human. Every day that you're on this earth, you're not a failure. And we fail at stuff. That's just part of life. And so you want to start to begin to be accountable. What does it mean to put your butt on the line? Be accountable. Be accountable and impeccable with your word. Give your word to things. I know it's scary for some of y'all. And here's the thing. You're being developed and trained as a leader this weekend to go and take action. And so what does that look like? Maybe it looks like in the Diamond University group, or in this chat on, I don't know what that app is called. Maybe it looks like you're giving your word to how many people you're going to talk to by the end of the evening on Sunday. Maybe you're committed to talking to 10 people and sharing your heart and USANA with others. Maybe it looks like you enroll one person on your team by Sunday night or tomorrow night. But giving your word to something, being accountable to other people is important in your growth and development. And then being responsible. So I want you to put in the chat, what are you going to be accountable for? What are you going to take action on? Is it you're going to talk to 4 people, approach an invite? Is it you're going to enroll a new team member? What are you going to do? And what is it that you need to be responsible for? See, a lot of us don't like to take responsibility because of what we make it mean. What do you make responsibility mean? See, being responsible is one of the key factors of being powerful. And if we're not being responsible, then what are we being? If we're not being responsible for where we're at in life, for our USANA business, for our health, for our training and development and our well-being, if we're not being responsible, then what are we being? I want you to write it down. What are you being? If we're not being responsible, we're being a victim of our circumstances. I was a victim a bunch of times last week. All right, next. You want to become an expert. That's what you're here for. To learn the skill so that you can go out there in the world and practice to become an expert. And being willing to accept failure. You don't want to focus on your failures. That's not where the focus should be. The focus should be on, okay, you failed at something. There's you as a human being, your human being aspect that you cannot fail as a human. Remember that. You're not a failure. You're never a failure. Some of you really need to hear that. Because if that's your story that you're telling yourself, it's disempowering you from taking action. So you have to change and transform that. So you can't fail as a human. But then there's this other aspect to you where you're a human doing. And you're taking action. And you might experience, well, no, I'm not going to say you might. You're going to experience failure. That is part of life. And to accept that you're going to fail at something, that you might fall flat right on your face. And it's important to learn from that failure. Get mentorship, get coaching, get trained, and get effective as you're learning and as you're growing. The next thing is, nothing works unless you do the work. Like, sitting here learning all this information is great. And we have to put it to use. So I want you to take a few seconds and quickly and with velocity, I want you to write down what is an action that you know that you need to take right away. As soon as this Diamond University is over, what's one action? I just want you to write one thing that you know is a must that would make all the difference in your business. And the next thing is being purpose-driven. You know, a lot of us think that we have to have this elaborate purpose in order to go and take action. And that's just not true. Like right now, this is my purpose right now. My purpose is to train and develop people in growing their USANA business. That's what I'm doing right now. Going back to, remember what I shared earlier, be in the moment. So many of you already know what your purpose is. You know, my purpose is to support the transformation of people's lives and to cause them to step into a place of freedom and power. That's my purpose. Whether it's sharing USANA with people, whether it's listening to people, I can fulfill on that purpose everywhere I go and tie USANA into that. Because USANA is all about transforming people's lives. And when you're purpose driven, you'll bring more value to yourself and to other people, and you'll have fun. You know, the other thing is that you don't want to focus on money. I know this all too well. When I was so focused on money, it took the joy of building this business out of me. It took the joy out of really being with people and being in their world out of me. And I wasn't as effective as I could have been. And people know when you're all about the money and not about them. And you want to be about creating value. So what are two things that are valuable that you can bring to the table, that you can bring to people? And I want you to write that down. And if you don't know the answer to that, the question would be, how can you create more value? Next, you want to work swiftly, quickly, and you want to work with velocity, fast. Why? Because coming out of this weekend, you want to be like a super train, like a bullet. Because if you don't, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be left with all your thoughts, with all the things that have kept you stuck, the things that stop you, the things that keep you from moving forward, that disempowering you. You get stuck with all that stuff in your head because you're busy trying to rationalize and be logical. And I'm going to come back to, most of us have this major need to look good. And so the quicker that you get out of your head, you want to get out of your own way. So all those things that you have up in your head about yourself, guess they're just thoughts. They really don't mean anything. They don't. So if you can get to a place where you can allow those thoughts to just, run through your brain, okay? And a lot of times they just want to be acknowledged. Acknowledge the thoughts. Hey, thank you. I call that voice in me, and excuse my French, but I'm going to use it. I call her bitch baby. When bitch baby shows up saying things like, you're just not that good enough, Monica. And what are you doing? Like, who do you think you are? And I just thank bitch baby. And I acknowledge her. Thank you, bitch baby. I appreciate you. And I acknowledge you for those incredibly disempowering thoughts. And you can leave now. And then I remind myself what I'm set out to create in the world. And so when you do that and you acknowledge what's there, sometimes it may mean you getting on a phone with somebody and just sharing with them what's there for you. So it's no longer in your taking up space inside of you. And then you can focus on really being with other people, being in their world, not trying to get it right, not trying to say something smart and waiting to say the right thing back. Or, you know, when you're really with people, like, you'll really get the world that they're in. And then you'll know exactly how to approach and invite them. You'll know what solution to provide them. But when you're stuck up here with all that stuff and all those thoughts that aren't even true about yourself, it's hard to be with people. All right, next. Being grateful. I've heard this several times already today. Is being grateful. Because when we're grateful, and we all know this, it puts you in a different state. It emits a different energy about you. And you're like a transmitter. You know, we've all had that experience where we're around somebody and they don't even say a word. And there's just something off. Maybe they don't feel good to be around. Maybe they feel angry. Maybe your perception is that they look angry or feel angry. And you don't really want to approach them because there's just something about them that you don't like or just doesn't sit well with you. We're so powerful. And when we put ourselves in a state of gratefulness, it completely alters the way that we be in the world. And you start to attract different things in your life when you have a different energy about yourself. And it's a gift that you give yourself when you put yourself in a state of gratefulness. And when we're grateful, there's like no lack. Like we're not lacking anything.
At a time, I'm sorry. Do you want to wrap up your last thought?
Yeah. So I just want to leave y'all with this. And here's the thing. Repetition is the mother of all skill. We all know it. We've heard it many times before. And you got to keep doing the thing that you know that you need to do over and over and over and over and over and over again, because that's one way that your brain learns is through repetition. And the one last thing, you heard me say this earlier, 80% of success is you just showing up and being here. It's freaking past midnight. Like, hello, that's uniquely extraordinary, you guys, that y'all are here. And then the other 20% is how you show up. So be thinking and writing down, who are you being? Who are you being as a leader that would have people want to just call you up and say, hey, Cindy Snow, I want to join your business because I see you everywhere on social media and you're absolutely uniquely extraordinary. Like, I want to be on your team. I want what you got. You're awesome, Cindy. So y'all have an amazing evening. And let's go make it happen. Let's go take action. Let's crush all that stuff that gets in our way. And I will see y'all tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Monica. Awesome information as usual. We love you. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay, guys, we have only a little bit of time here before our super VIP advanced session. So at 12 o'clock Mountain Daylight Time, approximately 50 minutes from now, this general session will come to a close. And I just want to remind everybody that is the super VIP that we'll be ending this meeting, and then you'll need to make sure you check your email for the confirmation that came to you for your super VIP registration, which is another Zoom registration link, basically, to be able to get into our next 2-hour session. Now, this is primarily for the Asia Pacific time zone. For those of you that it's during the day now in Asia Pacific on Saturday, then this is for you. So if you're here in North America markets, you're more than welcome to crash and get some good sleep as this general session ends, and to be able to key into our advanced session tomorrow for you at 1:30 Mountain Daylight Time. But if you are a super overachiever and you want to last through our super VIP session tonight, then you're more than welcome to do that. Your super VIP registration does include that. Now you can still upgrade. So somebody put that upgrade link inside the chat for me, please, so that others can see it and click on that. If you are in a general admission registration right now, you can still upgrade. And I'll be monitoring that here shortly as our next talks go along so that we can get you emailed that information. And also, if you're not seeing it for some reason for our Super VIP and you've registered that, then you can reach out to me on Facebook Messenger as well. Okay, next up, it's my honor to announce our next and actually our most recent speaker that we added to our agenda. These guys are awesome. And actually, he has a background like I did in terms of carpet installation. So we were able to gel with our stories right out of the gate from the first time that we met. It's great to see their energy and their continued commitment. They are Emerald directors and on their way to Diamond and very serious. This is Will and Regina McLeod. They are Emerald directors, and I think that Will's going to be doing most of the talking here, and he's over in Auckland, New Zealand. Take it away, Will.
Guys, welcome. What an amazing day it's been. So it's just me, it's here speaking. She's going between Indonesia and this, so she's got a lot of things going on. But I'd just like to share my screen if it's okay. Oh, awesome. Let me see. Hold on. All right, awesome. So yeah, it's great to see everybody here. So I'm going to take you a little bit of a journey. I've got something I want to share with you. It's called the Circle of Influence. But before I do that, I'd love to share a little bit of my story. So here's a picture of me and Regina 8 years ago. And this is at Regina's birthday. Now you can see she's smiling, right? But she wasn't really happy at that time. Why? Because she'd just been diagnosed with step 3 precancer cells. So she was obviously very stressed. She was putting on a smile because it was her birthday party. And we were, it was a bit of a shock for us at that point. So we went to the hospital, and what happened is they says, right, we're going to have to do a procedure, do a little operation. And then what happened is they done a blood test, and then Regina found out she was pregnant. So they says, well, we can't do anything with what you're dealing with at the moment. We're going to have to monitor it, and we'll need to deal with it later. So they says, well, continue with your pregnancy. So what happened is for the next few months, Regina's what happened? She went to the hospital again, and what they done is they done a test to see how the baby was growing. So they done a scan, they done a test, they done a blood test. And what happened is in the blood test, right, they says, well, the baby wasn't growing. So she's like obviously scared. So they says, well, your baby's meant to be here. But in fact, your baby's actually here at the moment. So that was quite a bit of a shock. So what they says, well, you have to take some supplements. So they gave Regina some supplement. And then they says, right, we're going to do a blood test every couple of, maybe twice a week. So every 3 days, Regina would have to get a blood test to see if anything was changing. So we done that 1 week, no change. The second week, no change. And my friend was in USANA. So what I done is I got the supplement from Regina, from my friend, and I gave it to Regina. Now, within 2 weeks, the baby starts to grow. Within 4 weeks, the baby's back to where it was meant to be. And it was like the only thing we done was change the supplement. So obviously, massive relief. So Regina's continuing taking the products. everything's great. She was getting stronger. The doctors were happy. Now, what happened is maybe about 3 months later, my friend James, he came to me and he says, look, let's come and have a look at the business. I want to introduce you to a couple called Bill and Jenny. And I was at that point in my life, it's like me and Regina are running 2 companies. So I'm running a flooring business. So I'm installing carpets, training apprentices, selling carpet. And then Regina's running a wellness clinic in Auckland and Takapuna. And then in the weekend, I'm leaving the flooring business and going into the wellness clinic to give Regina time to relax because she's been working the business. So we've got 2 different businesses running. And then Regina's pregnant. And so I'm quite authentic. So I says to James, look, I'm not interested. It's like, I'm overwhelmed. I've got 2 businesses. I've got all these workers to take care of. And I've got a hormonal wife. So it's like, at the moment, it's not the right time for me. And so James was quite persistent. So what James done is he went behind my back. He went to Regina and he starts prodding at Regina and says, look, come and see Bill and Jenny, come and see Bill and Jenny. And Regina's, obviously, she's Asian. So what the thing about there is, okay, they don't want to say no. So she comes to me and starts pushing me. We need to go see Bill and Jenny, but we're not going to join. We're just going to see the presentation and then we'll leave. Like a good husband, okay, I'll go. So we went to see Bill and Jenny. They live in a beautiful house in Auckland, in Howick. We walked in, got beautiful cars, beautiful big house. But the biggest thing I realized when I turned up was how amazing the people were. And back then, Bill and Jenny, their English wasn't very good. As you can see today, amazing, they've done really well. But back then, they couldn't. So I walked into a bit of a presentation and this woman, Romola Quinn, came out. And beautiful woman, she really took care of us. And she went through a presentation with us. And one of the things I seen for myself that night was, I've got a 28-year-old daughter and a 26-year-old son, and I never seen them growing up because I was always working from my first marriage. And I've got, my wife's pregnant, there's a baby coming, and I'm really at a place in my life where I'm 45 years of age. My knees are killing me. My hands are sore. I keep training apprentices. Every time I train somebody up, they would become a competition and leave. Then I give my skills to the next one, they would leave. And I was just getting worn down and worn down. As you can see, I was quite overweight there as well. So I'm in a situation, I want to be a full-time dad. I've got a new baby coming. I don't want to repeat the same mistake again. And that night, I actually decided to join. And one of the reasons was Bill came up to me and he says to me, the same thing that Jeremy says to him. Usana will change your life. In that time in my life, it was just the perfect time. And I joined. And then, obviously, since then, we built a big business. We opened up in Indonesia. Bill and Jenny flew all the way to Indonesia. They helped us. So the support was absolutely extraordinary. So we joined, we continued, things started to go great. We're growing the business. And then what happened is a few months later, the baby was born, right? Alexandra was born. And that was just a blessing. So such an emotional business. So the baby was born, things were going great. Regina went back to the hospital a month later. They went through the test. They checked for the pre-cancer cells. They done a test, and it went from step 3, pre-cancer, to 0, and everything cleared. And that, our belief was through the roof. We started building the business. About a couple of years later, Usana opened up in Indonesia. I ended up there. And we've just been there for the last 5 years. And then a year later, last year with COVID, we came back to Auckland and we've been building the business now in Auckland, New Zealand. And yeah, so it's just been such an amazing journey. from killing myself in my business, me and my wife not getting to see each other, going through this with the baby and our health, and then we've transformed all these areas, and our life is transformed, and now we get to make a massive difference to other people's lives. And USANA has been such a blessing. And I just want to thank Jeremy for starting SDI, because if he'd never done that, Bill and Jerry wouldn't have done that. James wouldn't have introduced me, and we wouldn't be here, and most people here wouldn't be here either. So the next thing I want to show you is this is what I looked like when I joined USANA. As you can see, pretty chunky and a lot of inflammation, as you can see. All right, so I've just got a little bit of time now, and I want to just let you know my story, and I want to now take you through a little quick exercise. So if you've got a piece of paper and a pen, please get it. I need you to draw something. So what I want you to do is get a piece of paper and a pen, and then the center of your paper, I want you to draw a circle the size of a coin, and I want you to put your name in the circle. And then once you do that, I want you to draw another circle, and I want you to put family. And then after that, another circle, and I want you to put friends. And then after that, another circle, and I want you to put community. And then after that, another circle, and I want you to put society. And then another one, and then I want you to put the world. So if you look at this circle, right, who's at the center of your world? It's you, right? But what we are doing is we've got this backwards. So many of us, me included, are trying to produce results in the world, society, community, friends. But the most hard one to deal with is our family and ourselves. So we're trying to produce results, we're trying to help people, we're over here, but maybe we have drama at home. Maybe we don't have that environment with us and our children and our family and most people are trying to create success, but they come back home to drama. And that was one of the biggest things that I was going through. And that's why it's so personal for me. And when I hear Monica and what she's sharing, this is so aligned, because the biggest thing that screws everything up is our ego. And we all have one. The key is we can't really see it because we don't really understand what it is. So let me read this to you. Usually people try to improve and create their results in the world, community, and society, but we do not focus on our inner self and on our family. They are usually the hardest to deal with and the most important part of our life. The SDI system is about being grounded and peaceful inside, creating breakthroughs in relationships and communication. We focus on our emotions, our ego, how to conquer fear, self-doubt, create confidence and positive influence. When we feel peaceful and grounded, we can become better communicators with our family and friends. We become better parents and partner, a better team player. Then every result in our life becomes effortless and natural. And I want you to just get present to that. If you're grounded and peaceful and present, and you're not getting hooked with negatives and reaction and judgment and insecurity, and you focused on just being peaceful and loving, and you build your business from that place, you become a magnet. You're not forcing anything. You don't need to be anything. Be yourself. The right people will follow you because you're just being true to who you are. And stop judging yourself and comparing yourself and judging others. Stay peaceful and grounded. And what happens is you're just walking through life, helping other people do the same, helping other people find themselves, helping other people love each other. How can you build a business and change people's lives if your house and your harmony at home is not congruent with that? So we work on ourselves in the inside, then it transfers to our family. Then it transfers to our friends, our community, our society, and in our world. And we are the person that can change the world. But to do that, we need to change ourselves and grow and get really, really grounded in who we are. So that's all for me. And I just want to let you know, guys, that I love all of you. We're all on the same journey. We're a USANA family, with Esty, your family. And the biggest blessing is Dr. Wentz coming into your life. And we're all his downline. So thank you so much. And all the best for the rest of your Diamond University.
All right. Will, great job. It was great listening to your story, hearing more about your journey. And it's always great. It's a great refresher. And actually, I've never seen it shared in that much detail before. So this is great. Thank you so much for preparing that. I'm sure all of you guys really loved it. And I got to say that we have another really important leader that is also underneath Bill and Jenny. And this leader has been working hard over in Australia, and she's located in Sydney. I had a chance to start working with her directly on some mentoring and coaching the last couple of years. It's been a lot of fun. And I kind of miss actually hanging out and talking to her a lot more lately. But she was part of our last Diamond University as well, a great speaker for that. She's a one-star Diamond director, Casey Zhang. Take it away.
Well, thank you, welcome. Thank you, Jeremy, for the wonderful introduction. Let me just share my slide. Thank you. Okay, can I share, please? Yep, just a little bit. Yeah, I just needed to share. Well, thank you so much for being able to connect here. Yeah, I really grateful to be here, and thank you, Jeremy, for taking this one virtual Diamond University. And yeah, just a little bit about myself. Yeah, I'm the mom. I'm a mom with 3 children, and I am the registered nurse. And yeah, I'm very touched with Will's story and really touched my heart. Yeah, I'm a very passive, health professional registered nurse, and migrated to Sydney with my husband, and thinking that if I could get my qualification recognized, and that will be my story. And when I was doing my postgraduate study, almost every minute and every second has been used, and I have the challenging in my health. And I was in doctor's clinic, and he told me that I'm going to losing my eyesight, and not only that, I can't have a 3rd child. And this is the first time in my life I experiencing very petrified, and I've been having a sentence from others. Well, right there, I decided, no, I cannot losing my eyesight. And, I got introduced to USANA. I say, well, yes, definitely, I love to take USANA products. And not knowing that, USANA is such amazing premium products, and I have to, to be able to afford it. So I start sharing it, these wonderful products to the people around me. And yeah, my passion just start to grow, and I myself, become full-time in USANA, from 2008. And again, I don't have any business skills, and everything what I do is learn and develop. Yeah, and we all have a different journey in USANA, and this is my journey. Yeah, and every once USANA is so unique. And I love to put an honor in Bill and Jenny. I remember when I was very junior as a USANA associate, I see them, they come to, Sydney, for the convention. when I see, Bill and Jenny, they're going, I don't know, I have so moved by. I say, I love to be making a difference like Bill and Jenny. And I really, start very, very moved by. And on the right is a picture in 2017. Just a little bit about myself. And I did not losing my eyesight. And I have the third child, and I named him Jeremy. And it's very touched my heart. Jeremy at one stage, he was participating STI's after convention party. And I was a person to translate for him. And that was really, really life-changing moment for me that I was able to partner him named Jeremy, very dear to my heart, and making a difference in the world. So, this are really, really changing my life. And that's why I say, I don't know how to do the business. And I learn, today, Monica and William and all of you here, you talk a lot, about, the mindset and things like that. And what I want to challenging you here is for you to changing your life and your USANA. And we all know there are only two things we can get control on is what you say and your action. There's only two things in our life, and we can have a control of what we say and what we do. And here, actually, if you listen closely, what the presenter talk about, and you will have some clue. And today, I just put it together, the 4 common languages the expanding leaders speak. You will see the expanding these leaders, they have some common characteristics. And I just put it here for you. Well, actually, the expanding leader, they speak 4 things. They dare to give people assignment. And all they share about is other people's story to helping people to move forward. And also, they dare to set up the challenging, not only for themselves, and they also set the challenging for others. And leaders speak vision. So today, my focus is talk about the language of challenge. We speak the workable language, the creative language. We are able to make a difference in the world. Okay, I'll be a little bit quicker because, the first one is to build up your own brand. Of course, I'm talking to myself as well. So Crystal talked a lot about how can we, if you have 3 words about yourself, and this can be your legacy, what are they? So this one, I'd love you to chat and put it on the chat, for you to remember what are your brand. And if you don't have it yet, I'd love you to take this one home as an assignment for you. All right. And number 2 is master 7 steps to become network marketing professionals. And the book, Eric Worre's book, I keep continuing reading it. And I'm realizing if I'm able to be the masterpiece about these 7 steps, and all my associates, they can master on there as well. So challenging us to have become professional. And then, we can all rise up the network marketing, reputation. And number 3, we have a simple system to allowing radical duplication in our team. And Bill and Jenny talk a lot about the KISS system. Keep it very simple. Simple is not easy. It's very easy to get complicated. And Bill and Jenny always remind us to do the 4S. And we as leaders, we're going out there to do the 4S. Sharing, sponsoring, service, and also set a goal for ourselves and dare to challenging our associates. Also, as you know, after the lockdown, we all understand the social media platform become actually rising as well. And then I think actually as a leaders, take the actually steps to learn. We can't just one day we become master in social media. And I myself is learning as well. So I love to give you the challenge, learn something in the social media and making a difference in other people. And Another thing I really love to focusing on is that leaders focusing on the process, not the result. Okay, how can we going out there without any money attachment, without any rank attachment, and we focusing the person right in front of us, focusing on the process. Well, I love to challenging you. What action are you going to take now for your life in USANA? So you can take, the 4 challenges I mentioned about with you. Build your own brand. Also building your own brand. And number 2 is skills. Got a very simple skills for to learn and to become master. And number 3 is actually do a simple system. If anyone in your downline know that's something what I needed to do, that's called system. Everyone, even the people from day one, they know what to do, and that's called system. System is duplicatable. Okay, so in Australia, New Zealand, we're taking it on since May. We do the C4 challenge, which means that we're taking it on the challenge every month for sponsor 4 people to 5 people. And I myself, I have been taking it on myself. Yeah. So again, another one is social media. Before I leave, and I know that, we got a lot of information. The world is changed by your example, not by your opinion. And this one is by Paulo Coelho. All right. And before I finish, I just want to honor Dr. Wen's vision. And this is the vision has been carrying on, has been my light, my power every day, every moment. I dream of the world free from pain and suffering. I dream of the world free from disease. The USANA family will be the healthiest family on earth. Share my vision, love life, and live it to its fullest in happiness and health. Thank you so much. I love you to take on the challenge and really making an impact in your life in USANA. Thank you. Thank you, Jeremy. Okay, let me see who is the next. The next one is actually I'm going to pass it to Gerald and Crystal. And these are the leader, are really at the moment, they are such a giving leader. You can see that they got a lot of, production, effort and things like that. And I'm going to pass it to you, Gerald and Crystal. Thank you.
And you saved us a few minutes here on the timer. We kind of were scrambling here. So that was good, though. Thank you so much. We needed that. So it's perfect. All right. So next up, we've got Jared coming up with our late night here. And I just want to mention a little bit about, again, the Super VIP. If you haven't done that, let's have somebody put that in the chat right now so you can get registered, because Super VIP session is going to start in 20 minutes and this session will end. Jared, let's rock and roll.
And now, welcome to Late Night with Jared Krebs. My name is Brian Penrod, and tonight, Jared Krebs is going to be talking about winning trips with USANA. So get ready, take notes, and learn. And now, here's Jared Krebs!
Hello, everybody! Welcome to the show. How are you guys tonight? If you are ready to learn about trips with USANA, type in trips. If you want to go on the next Elevate trip, type in Elevate, because we are about to show you the vision of how awesome your life can be with USANA and going on all of the trips that they provide as you grow your business. There's nothing more fun than being on a trip with all of your friends. And I have some slides I want to show you about the Elevate trips, because no matter what market you're in, there's Elevate for the Asia Pacific market, there's Elevate for the North America market, and you can opt into these slides, or you can opt into these trips. So I think we're going to try and get these slides to show up here for a second. Jericho has me there. Okay, so this Autumn Elevate trip, this one here just happened in Cancun. And this one, to win an Elevate trip, you have to enroll, or you have to create 8,500 points worth of orders, okay? Preferred customer orders or associate orders, product orders. And when you do, you get a trip. And this is a picture of me and my wife, Crystal, on the last trip to Cancun. The most fun was being with all of our friends, right? Like being all together, going on to the different things that they had. Like we were on a catamaran. We had special VIP dinners. We just loved our trip to Elevate. And then the next trip coming up for the North America market is Disney. And this one here is, again, the same thing. You enroll, you create 8,500 points worth of orders in 6 months' time. What is that? That's 300 points a week. So you guys can do this. Anybody can do this. The cool thing about Elevate is that it doesn't matter what rank you are. It doesn't matter if you've been in a long time. It's all based on personal production within a 6-month period. This is me and Crystal at Disney World. And this one again was, well, this one just happened, but it's also happening again. It was so good, they want to do it again. So this is going to be awesome. And we just qualified for this. So you can hang out with me and Crystal. You can still join this one. You have, like, I think 55 days. There's about 2 months left in the year. So you can win this still. So guys, these trips, the way you do is you have to go to the hub and you have to opt in. Make sure you go and you opt in, because if could you imagine winning the trip and you forgot to opt in and then you don't go? Okay, so make sure you just go opt in. Just get that done, get that little detail done, and then join us on the next Elevate trip. So this panel is going to actually cast that vision for you on USANA trips. And we're going to bring up all of the leaders to share their stories on what they learned from these trips, what these trips have meant to them. And we're going to start off with none other than my lovely wife, Crystal Nicole Lopez Krebs. Crystal, come on down. Welcome to the show, baby. You look so beautiful. Thank you so much for all your hard work for Diamond View. There's no way we could do this without you. Guys, Crystal, as you know, has probably been emailing a lot of you and helping a lot of you with your with your getting onto the meeting, right, babe? And so can you talk to us about these last 2 trips to Elevate and what they meant to you, what you loved about them?
So the last 2 trips have been incredible. We have met some really, really amazing people. A lot of the leaders that are there are now such good friends of ours. I mean, it's a very unique situation because you really get to know them and you get to bond with them and have fun. You don't normally do that like at a convention when everybody's there. It's always so much fun there because you see everybody, but you have like a minute to just say, hi, how are you? But on these trips, you actually get quality time with them. You get to know them, they get to know you, and then instant bond. And that's how the USANA family it just, connects even more. And it's just a blast to go. They take care of you so well. We had so much fun in Cancun on the catamaran. We were snorkeling and great social media content for, being on these trips. And the Disney trip that's coming up. So the last Disney trip we won, it was so much fun. We got to meet people's families, their kids. We'd been doing the Sip and Scrubs, me, Fernanda, Alexis, and Felicia, all of 2020. And so their kids got to know us just via Zoom from the Sip and Scrubs. And so when we finally got to meet them, they were like, oh my God, we're getting to meet, Jared and Crystal. They were so excited and so sweet. And so it was just really, really special to get to meet them. And like I said, these trips, like, you don't want to miss these trips. Why would you not want to go on vacation every 6 months, twice a year with all of your closest friends? It's that much better. But yeah, definitely be there because we're going to be there.
That's right. So guys and gals, make sure that you've opted in. Make sure, we looking at this camera? That camera. Okay, make sure that you've opted in, guys. Make sure that you are working hard and make sure that you're tracking this also for your team as well. Make sure you know about that. Now, our next person that we're going to bring up is one of the Elevate Trip winners, Jericho Orlina, who we spent time with in Cancun, and it was so much fun. Jericho Orlina, come on down. Woo! Have a seat right here, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Bro, so bro, like, what was it like hanging in Cancun? What were your highlights, your tips? What do you want to say?
Highlights. It was so fun. And of course, that was the first time I met you guys.
That's right.
That was the very first time I met this too. And for me, it was actually my first trip with the Asana as well. All of them got canceled, but this one, thank God, this was the first trip that I actually attended. And it was so fun. It was easier for me to cast the vision to my downlines as well. Because one thing that, like what we learned earlier, is we have to learn how to promote events and of course promote travel incentives as well. But it's so much easier to promote travel incentives when you've seen it yourself, when you've attended it yourself. And of course, for a lot of my associates who were there as well, I think a lot of them enjoyed meeting other people who are in Usana. When they see that, okay, it's not just us in the building, but there's actually other people who are successful here.
Absolutely. And I got to brag on you. Okay, I got to brag on you for bringing your team because you had, how many people won the trip in your team?
Okay, I think there was 5 or 6 of us there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was so cool just hanging in
It
the
was
pool
fun.
and just drinking pina coladas and
Yeah.
just really just hanging and talking. And I remember like sitting in the ocean with you guys and like we had our little phones in like these little lanyard things. And I was like an idiot and didn't have
And
my
what
phone.
happened to your phone?
I dropped it in there. Actually thought my phone was waterproof. Okay.
Yeah.
Look, the iPhone is not waterproof. Okay, guys. It's not. Even if they say it is online, it's not waterproof. And anyway, so I dipped it in the pool and it started to malfunction and I didn't have a phone for 3 days. So, I mean, there you go. That's what happens sometimes, first world problems. But I will say that it was still freaking awesome. And I got my pictures back. So
That's all that
it
matters.
happened. Yes, bro. Well, thank you again, man. Thank you for leading with the vision. Thank you for bringing so many people. And we love having you here, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All right. So for our next special guest, we have Patty Roney, who has gone on 7 USANA cruises. Everybody give it up.
Okay.
Patty,
Hi.
welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes.
So I love this topic because I remember actually winning a cruise before I could afford to take all my kids on the cruise. So you think about that. It was a time where we weren't doing so many of the land trips. We were doing a lot of the cruises. And I actually passed on one and USANA sent me the money for it because I couldn't take my kids. All the others, so 5 cruises, I took all my kids. And we also got to go to Indian Wells, the professional tennis, and be in the
cool.
WTA box. And so those are all different perks that USANA has had. I just have to say that what really hits me is how they treat us. They're constantly giving us incentives and beautiful prizes to do our job. And you can go to other jobs and never get to go on a cruise and never get even much of a thank you. They treat you like gold. And you are right about the people around you because this USANA family is super bonded, but you're always going to pick up a tip. No matter how long you've been in USANA, it's time for me to go on more trips because you're going to always pick up a tip from someone. And it's a tip while you're sunbathing, or it's a tip while you're in the ocean.
Exactly.
Or it's a tip while you're, we went to the Mexican Riviera, went 3 Caribbean cruises, and we went 1 Alaskan cruise. And I think it was just 5, and then the 3 Indian Wells trips that we went. And I think that the tips that you get from the USANA family and corporate, I love the home office and the information that they give us too, because they're real people and we get to hang out with them and they give us a lot of information. So anyway, I love how we were treated. You've all made me ready to go again.
Let's go. That's right.
Ready to go. So thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you, Patty.
Thank you.
Oh my God. I love how you cast the vision for your team and for other moms. You know, like moms out there, you want to take your kids on a trip, win it and take them to Disney. Win it and take
Yes.
them to Cancun. We had kids on both trips.
Good.
And yeah, it's just a great thing to see that you did that and you're going to do it again.
I am going to do it again.
Awesome.
Elevate all of them.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes.
All right, guys, now it's time for our next special guest, Foundation Executive, 5-star Diamond Director, Brian Penrod, who's been on countless trips. Come on down, bro.
You're the
All right.
Look at that outfit.
So, man, talk to us, man. How many trips do you think you've been on, like paid for USANA trips?
I don't even know, like more than 10?
More than 10.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, what
Between
has
10
been,
and 20 or something.
what would be like some of your favorite moments? Or, like, I know you've gone on a lot, but like, what would you say?
A couple of them were a couple of my first times. And one of those first times was my very first USANA cruise. And it was just magical. I remember being able to sit at a table with my upline, Jeremy Stansfield and Brian Douglas. And then the other people sitting next to us on that cruise in the Caribbean and just soaking in the possibilities of the lifestyle because they had all become financially free already. And I was broke and had a job. And it totally just opened my mind. I remember it's like every time you'd leave your room, somehow you'd show back up later and there's gifts on your bed.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
how do they know? Like, you know? And you know what? One of my best memories on that cruise was spending probably an entire day of that cruise writing out a stack of postcards about that thick to all of the people that had said no, which I was taking as a not yet. That trip rocked my business when I got home because I was like, man, you should have listened to me. You would have, man, all these people. Oh man, it was just so fun. It was so awesome. And then, yeah, just Cancun to Bora Bora to Switzerland to Ireland to Mexico, Argentina. Like, I don't know, like I just lose track of them all, but I'm excited on going on this next one. I am going to win this thing.
Elevate, bro.
Elevate.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks for leading with the vision, bro.
Thank you.
Love watching you go on those trips too. Being on some of them with you. Yeah. All right. Well, we saved the best for last. We have Foundation Executive, 9-star Diamond Director, the man, the myth, the legend, Jeremy Stansfield. Come on down. Bro, sit right here. Sit right here, bro. All right. So talk to us. What have been some of your favorite moments from your trips?
Man, I was just hearing some of the ones you've been on. I've been on those as well.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
had so much fun. Oh my gosh. You know, I think that one of my biggest dreams, well, from when I was a child and getting into the workforce, even as a teenager, and then in my early 20s, I just dreamed of being able to travel and being able to check out new areas and new cultures. And what better than have a company that actually has taken me all around the globe on being able to be treated like 5-star accommodations. And yeah, the treatment is just absolutely amazing. But I would say that my favorite one was probably South Africa. So that safari was pretty epic. But really being all over Europe, places like Switzerland. We've actually done tons of trips to Hawaii. I've loved all the USANA cruises. One of my most memorable was an Alaskan cruise and going all the way up and seeing all the big ice formations and all that were cracking off and right next to our ship. And it was just so cool. My kids will never forget that. It was just awesome. So many great trips. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Jeremy. I want to ask you guys also on the panel, since we have a little time, talk about bringing team members with you on trips, because, you know, it's not just about us going on trips, right? It's about our team going on the trips and what that did for your business or what it did for the people. Does anyone want to say anything on that?
I do. Actually, some of my team, worked hard just to go on those cruises with my family. And the fact that we were together was huge. But my family and my team felt like they never wanted to go on another cruise again, ever, unless it was USANA. Because I'm not kidding, the USANA family, it's a different breed. There's so much more fun. There's so much more real. There's not fake. So that was amazing for us.
Oh, thank you for sharing. I also want to share, I took my mom on a trip to Ireland. So the first USANA trip I won was Growth 25, and it was back in 2008, guys. But at that time, they combined the Growth 25 and the Fortune 25. And we stayed in castles. We were around we played games in like Ireland with like bagpipe guys playing their music and I mean all this stuff, and it was my first trip. But I got to bring my mom, and many of you know my mom passed away 3 years ago from ovarian cancer. We all love her, and I think that you never know how much time you have with people in your life, you know. And the fact that I got to take my mom on this luxury trip and make a memory that we have forever. Was just worth its weight in gold, you know. So I want you guys to like really take that to heart and really go for these trips, you know, not just for your business, but for your family, and to create experiences. You know, my mom became a gold director. That business continues on very strong with my dad, and that whole team still to this day is a big part of my life. And I'm just so grateful though for these trips, because this is something that we'll never forget. So anybody else? Last couple thoughts on trips before we go on.
I think for me, one of the main things that got programmed to me when I was starting in USANA is that if you plan to quit in USANA, you better make sure that you've tried the travel incentives first before you quit.
Yeah, that's right.
Because if you've tried it, then you would be successful by then. But that's literally what my mentors told me. You want to quit in USANA? You better make sure you've tried the travel incentive. So that's something that was drilled into my mind when I was starting. Yeah.
Well said.
And it's one other thing too is like we had talked about earlier, like key performance KPIs, so to speak. You know, definitely for international conventions, events like this, but why not set goals of how many people in your network and your team you can bring with you? And imagine being on that trip with your team, all experiencing how awesome it is together, and then being able to set group goals again for the next trip and seeing that duplication happen. I know you're seeing that type of growth happen too. And man, that's just the way to go. And we have a freaking blast.
Thank you, Brian. Oh, okay.
No,
Crystal.
I just want to say, also being on these trips, like proximity is power.
Yeah.
Like being around, even right now, like just being around all of these leaders, like it's so amazing. You get in that energy. You really like it. Like Brian was saying, it blows your mind and expands.